Professor ex-chairman of Human Rights Commission of Bangladesh. I like to ask you one thing. It's very interesting that you told that poor people, they're innocent. They don't commit crime. They are not building house in Begumpara. So Begumpara, these people who are building house, they're all these rich people. So why this place has been named as Begumpara, I don't understand. So you told that our father of nation, Honorable Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, told that my laborers, my poor people, they're innocent. They don't commit crime. But they are my friends. But those who are rich people, they are not my friends. They are working against me. So I ask you, kindly, could you explain the Begumpara's background and what is happening there? Because you examined it.
Well, Mr. Zia, thank you very much once again. I'm really happy to be back to your program and share some of my experiences at the National Human Rights Commission in Bangladesh. Well, the question with money laundering, with building of villas in Begumpara or second home in Malaysia, or having a villa in the United States, we know that who are the people involved. It's a very minor fraction of the population of the country who are involved, and we have the capacity of indulging in these kind of activities. You rightly recall the words of our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and he made it, very clearly he expressed that my workers, my peasants, my farmers, my students, they are not corrupt. But these so-called literate people, they are corrupt. And even if we look today at the economic situation of the country, what do you see? We find that who are the money launderers? It's not the peasants, the farmers, the poor, the workers. No, it's not the government workers. The government workers do not, launder money. The government workers do not indulge in corruption. But then who is doing that? Well, I don't think that I need to speak more clearly because everyone understands. If these are not the people, then who are the people who are doing and indulging in this kind of illicit activities? Secondly, you see, we have a problem also with, and I know that for this, I'm not like the many, but I must be true to myself, that a great responsibility lies with the bureaucracy of the country. If the bureaucracy is not honest, if the bureaucracy is not pro-people, if the bureaucracy is not pro-poor, then the poor people remain invisible and they do not get the due share of the benefits of the development of national, what do you call national development? But the development, we measure it on per capita. But the per capita, some are extremely rich, others are extremely poor. But if you see the per capita income, it is more than $2,500. Does that mean that my farmer is living a life with $2,500? Which is not the case. So therefore, let us not, sort of try to hide behind some of these statistics and data and economic tools that generally are used by the literate and educated people. We know that the poor people, they toil. These toiling masses, they love the country. It is the toiling masses who sacrificed their lives in 1971 to liberate the country from the Pakistan military junta. It was not the rich people and the industrialists who sacrificed their lives back in 1971. And the same thing continues today. It is the poor people who continue through their labor, building the nation, sustaining the economy, and making us a middle income country, and then giving us the ground, preparing the ground to share the dream of becoming a developed country in 2040.
Thank you very much. And one thing I like to ask you, you told that on Swiss Bank, this deposition in Swiss Bank by the Bangladeshi rich people is increasing. What do you mean by that?
Well, it is, we can see it as an allegory. Allegorically meaning that, it's a safe haven. So you can deposit your money. But why you need to send the money to a Swiss bank, or for that matter to any foreign bank? Because you see that there may be time that when your sort of accumulation of money and these wealth and riches may be questioned under the laws of the land. Where did you and how did you procure this huge amount of wealth? Is there a legal source? If not, then probably there had been some irregularities, committed. So you want to protect yourself, and you want to be on the safer side in the sense that you are just sending the money and keeping it very safe in a foreign bank. And it may not be necessarily the Swiss bank, but when we use the word Swiss bank, and literally it had been the case in Bangladesh that many of our rich people in industries, they are keeping, and they have opened accounts in the Swiss banks, and they are keeping deposits there. But I would say that when we use the word Swiss bank, it's not merely the banks in Switzerland, but it's any foreign. It may be in Dubai, it may be in Singapore, it may be in Malaysia,
right,
or it may be in the United States of America.
And then I like to ask you one thing, Dr. Ballerina. She has been trying to help the people in Bangladesh. I mean, rehabilitation of the people. She's spending much money. She's taking money from abroad, whereas our people are taking money from our country to abroad. So these things appears to be very much, strange.
You see, this is
Ballerina. You have told about
yes,
Ballerina.
Valerie Taylor,
Valerie Taylor,
yes,
Dr.
yes.
Valerie Taylor.
Yes.
She's a really genius and humanitarian woman.
Yes.
So, how much she has performed humanitarian works in Bangladesh?
Well, I think, as human rights defenders, we can all be proud of Valerie Taylor because of her institution, CRP, the Center for the Rehabilitation of the Paralyzed. It had been doing a wonderful job in the country. And from one center in Savar, it is now extended and it is opening branches in other areas of the country and also in Mirpur, in Dhaka, and in other places. So it is expanding, and it had been the only institution, so-called, recognized with trained professionals who would offer assistance to the paralyzed people in the country, to the injured. And you see, there are lots of road accidents in the country. And ultimately, they end up coming to CRP for rehabilitation purposes.
You recommended for fund.
Yes.
Fund.
And Valerie Taylor has been honored by the country. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina honored her with an award. So, she has been recognized also.
Yes.
I think, and that's a very right thing to do for us to recognize our foreign friends who had been contributing throughout their life for the protection of the rights of the underprivileged, the victims, of the paralyzed, of the, fatally sick people, and they're beside them.
You had a flowering admiration for her.
Absolutely.
And that Munjil, the Justice Munjil, you also told that he's a relative linked with her. This is got Munjil to reach there.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting. I watched it. Now I like to go through a little bit what we have discussed. You came to the Human Rights Commission as the chairman, and it was a very dignified post, and the whole nation raised their expectation at you, and you promised, you worked hard, you left no stone unturned to deliver justice to the people. You confronted problem, you got the criticism of the ministers, you did not get any cooperation from some important areas, and sometimes you have been frustrated, but you are not frustrated at all because you have a challenging personality. You understand this is the world, this is the society. That's why we are fighting. That's why God has given us blessing of education and power. So if we think about this and we become nervous, then the society cannot go ahead. So we are the person. We should suffer for the people, but that suffering is the blessing from God. God will give us one day for that. So at the 6 years you ruled this organization, at the last year when you came to the, last position, what did you understood about your success and failure?
When I left the organization, I was sensing that things might change very drastically after I leave the office. I was sensing that the bureaucrats were already looking at the National Human Rights Commission as an institution which they wanted to capture. I always prayed that it doesn't happen. But unfortunately, things develop differently. And since I left, the NHRC Bangladesh had been left always at the hand of the retired bureaucrats, to the extent that a judge of the Human Rights of the High Court Division of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh, in one of a judgment, even remarked that it appears that the National Human Rights Commission has turned into a club of retired bureaucrats. That's what the judge used this sentence. That's unfortunate. I think the government and the policymakers could have been more thoughtful in selecting the new composition of the commissions, so the commission really can work, and the people can see and they feel that they have a friend, they have a defender in the face of the National Human Rights Commission.
You are the person who gave dignity to this commission, who reorganized the commission, who resurrected the commission, who gave commitment to the grassroots level. I'm here. Your name is Mizanur Rahman. Mizanur means you understand what it is. So your name has got relation with justice. And then people became very much delighted to see that we have got a new person, very important person. He will give us everything. You tried your level best. At the last, you also understood that what happened, something happened negative that is not due to your ability. You have the proper ability. You have the proper capacity, proper education, knowledge. So what happened? That was the mercy of history. So, Professor, thank you very much. You have given us very interesting information, very important text and words of human rights. And I shall welcome you that in future you come back to the national life. Don't be angry with us.
Oh no, thank you. I think I'm a very simple person. All through my life, I just taught students in the university, but I learned in the way, and I learned a lot. I saw the people of Bangladesh, and I truly saw Bangladesh during the 6 years that I was the chair of the National Human Rights Commission, where I really saw the real feeling, and I understood the pulse of the people of Bangladesh, the poor people of the country, the victims, the marginalized, the vulnerable people of the country. So, human rights is a lifelong venture. You never cease to be a human rights defender. And humanity is something of an ideal, that we're always in pursuit of happiness, meaning that in pursuit of proper implementation and realization of the human rights for all. That is the goal that we should all cherish. That is the goal that we should all struggle for. And we need to continuously fight so that human rights is protected for all equally and at all times.
That's why I tell to everybody that Professor Human Rights, Dr. Mizanur Rahman, is a very humanitarian person. So right now he is working with the universities. Even he is also teaching in America, coming and going, and then he's not angry with the people, grassroots level people. If he gets a chance in future to serve, he will of course come. So these people are never angry. They always take a human problem, their own problem. So he is a hero of their persons. So I appreciate him for all the time to come. And today, thank you very much for you giving the interview. You are really a hero, and history will remember you for all the time to come.
Thank you, Mr. Zia.